Hi, and let's talk about how emotions are not facts. And a lot of times our emotions are so intense that it's hard to separate what's a fact and what's an emotion and what's causing our distortion. And this is particularly true for those who have mental health issues or who are struggling to not only understand themselves, but also understand a wide variety of situations, relationships, and circumstances that they get themselves into. And I think central to that is understanding that emotions are not facts, but we got to break that down. We got to give you something and some framework to help you understand this. So emotions and facts, they're very different parts of the human experience. And what we're going to do is we're going to break them down. We're going to break them down. First, let's break down what a fact is. What's a fact? You're probably thinking, I know what a fact is. But a fact is actually, it's objective. A fact is an objective piece of information that you can verify or prove it and can be true or false, accurate or inaccurate. And they're often based on empirical evidence, like research. Like a lot of my channel is based on research related to personality disorders, related to mental health. And it cuts out that part of personal opinion because personal opinion, it muddies it. And opinion amplifies emotions. And the more amplified our emotions are, the harder it is for us to understand facts, and we get it. Now, facts can also be seen as universal, and they're generally universal, and they apply consistently across different individuals and situations. Now, bear in mind that the universality of facts, that sometimes they can change over time, but they're usually extensive periods of time, and that change to facts is based upon research that has been replicated time and time and time again. So it's important to look at that. So that universality, it's really there. And if it changes, there's facts to support the change. Very important. And it's concrete. Facts tend to be concrete. And not only in being concrete, they tend to be specific as well. And the specificity provides clear and measurable description of reality, which could be your relationship. What is a fact based on your relationship? You have to figure out what that is. What could relationship facts be? So a relationship fact could be effective communication is a cornerstone of healthy relationships, and that open and honest communication, it tends to foster, build understanding, and helps address issues. Is that a fact? Well, that's been studied many, many, many times. And poor communication, indirect communication, has been found to be an outcome of poor relationship stability, poor relationship success. Well, let's talk about another one, relationship fact. Let's talk about trust. What about trust as a relationship fact? Well, we know that it's kind of fundamental in relationships, right? It's a fundamental component, and it has to be built on and maintained because trust is so crucial for the stability and well-being of any relationship. And this has been studied, and it has shown that when trust is present, that relationships tend to succeed, and it increases the probability of not only the relationship lasting, but of the positive growth that the relationship experiences. Now let's switch to emotions. Emotions can be complex. We know there's all kinds of different emotions, right? I'll show you. Here's a little picture of all these different emotions right here. Check it out. Whoa, it's a lot of emotions. Absolutely. Emotions are subjective. They are subjective experiences, and they vary from person to person. Anger in me may be very different than anger in you. So they're influenced not only by my perceptions, your perceptions, other individuals' perceptions, but attitudes and personal context. And that personal context, what that can mean is that when I'm in a particular situation, I may respond one way emotionally, which can then feed particular behavior activation and the behavior that I engage in to manage the situation, which may be different from you. Mine may be right or wrong. Yours may be right or wrong. I don't know. Emotions aren't right or wrong. Emotions just are. And that's part of the tricky component too, is that I think we're always trying to put a balance on emotions. They're not right or wrong. What typically is right or wrong is the behavior that you engage in and the outcome that comes from it. If you hurt someone because of an emotional outburst and you lose that relationship, that person doesn't trust you anymore, whatever it may be, that is certainly a negative outcome. And hopefully in those situations that we learn from those emotions, from that emotional experience. Now another internal. Emotions are internal, and these internal responses to external stimuli or internal thoughts. The thoughts that we have absolutely influence how we feel about different experiences, different people, our attitudes, the people that we connect with, the people we want to connect with. So it's very much an internal process as well, and they are felt and experienced within the individual. Facts can be external because they're tested, right? They're viewed with those components. Now, emotions are variable. Ain't that the truth, right? That they are very variable. Some high, some low, some get really excited and wild, and some get really chill and quiet. So there's that variability in emotions as well. And because of that variability, it's influenced by so many factors. This could be your personal history. It could also be culture. It could be context. And when we talk about personal history, we got to consider mental health. When we talk about mental health, there's very different lenses that we can use to look at it. Let's look at a personality disorder. Personality disorders are prolonged beliefs, behaviors, and patterns that have typically been adversive to the individual and the way they see themselves, the way they see others, and their relationships. So when I work with someone with a personality disorder, what I'm trying to do is help them master their emotions, understand the difference between emotions and facts, and that emotions are not facts. Typically, a lot of folks that I work with initially, when we get started, many of them say, well, emotions are facts because if I feel them intensely, that makes them true. But it doesn't, because emotions influence our perspective and they create distortions. What we need to do is apply a bit of both. Find that happy medium, which is an even combination of emotions and facts. And that helps us determine situations. It helps us see ourselves in a more balanced way. And that's what we want to do, because when we see ourselves clearly and we recognize the probability of behaviors, positive or negative, increase the outcome positively or negatively, we have a greater sense of control. And that's exactly what we need to do and want to do. Now, it's really important to recognize and differentiate between emotions and facts, just like I talked about, and really take into account those various contexts, discussions, your decision-making, and problem-solving. And this is really, really important. Now, while facts can provide that foundation for understanding your reality, emotions contribute to the subjective and your personal aspect of human experience. And that's so important, right? It's so central. It's important to acknowledge and respect both the factual and emotional dimensions of any given situation. We got to look at both, because that empowers you to make that choice. And when you're empowered, that gives you the ability to determine your own degree of response. And that's what this channel is about. That's what I'm always trying to do with my clients. My job is to help you achieve what you want in a more adaptive and healthy way. And I hope this video did that for you. Please like, share, and subscribe, comment, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.